I formed Delta Vega in 2011 specifically to do model risk management at Morgan Stanley. It was a corporate-to-corporate consultant job. The CFO line at Morgan Stanley recognized the importance of the SR 11.7 Model Risk Management, or MRM, guidance, which had just been issued. They made the choice to hire into the internal audit department a team of PhD quants to do MRM. I was one of those quants. We had two tasks, call them A and B. A, as we sat in the third line of defense, we were the primary reviewer of models produced by the second line, meaning the risk management department. And B, we were the secondary validators of front office models. We were to focus on the effectiveness of the models in the spirit of an auditor. Soon I was assigned to validate a new market risk model from the quants in the risk management department. The bank felt that it was putting aside too much capital for regulatory purposes. The metric for market risk measurement was the usual value at risk, or VAR. Nearly all the Wall Street banks did historical simulations for VAR, looking backward for a specific period of time or window to estimate future losses. The key thing was the length of the window. JP Morgan pioneered VAR and used a 1-year look back. Others used 1 year or two, except for Morgan Stanley, which stood out by using 4 years. Why was this a problem in 2011? Well, the onset of the great financial crisis in 2008 was about to enter the Morgan Stanley 4-year window for VAR. For other banks, the GFC had ceased to be an issue as the maximum look back was to 2010. But Morgan Stanley was about to do calculations that assumed the market was as risky as the times of the bankruptcies of Bear Stearns, Lehman, the mortgage crisis, and so on. The risk quants at Morgan Stanley wanted to scale down the level of risk, the volatility, from the 2008 values, for example, to what they felt were more current values. The volatility difference effectively meant that a current daily loss was only about 1/8 the impact as during the GFC. That is significant. To do the scaling, they made a time series of volatility called exponential weighted moving average, or EWMA. Without the model, the historical simulation uses all the observed volatilities in the 4-year window. But with the model, the historical simulation uses a smaller window to determine today's volatility via specification of the exponential weight factor, or lambda. Risk management stated that they wanted to use lambda equals 0.99, but I was brought in to verify whether values between 0.95 and 0.98 might be better. My report then went to the Fed, the OCC, FDIC, and SEC for approval. Happily, the model was approved, and Morgan Stanley was able to free up some of the regulatory capital for other purposes.